I'm Stacey Hoppes. Joining me today is Julie Rio, the new Assistant Director of the Wallingford Public Library, and formally, I'll let you take over.
The Adult Programming and Community Services Librarian at the Wallingford Public Library.
Perfect. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much for having me, Stacey. Appreciate it.
So we're here today to talk about One Book, One Wallingford. It's the third book.
Yeah.
And it's something that's done annually, correct?
Yep, third annual.
And so why don't you tell us a little bit about the program and what it does for the community?
So the One Book, One Community Read started, I don't know, maybe about 20 years ago with a librarian in Seattle named Nancy Pearl, who's really kind of a rock star in the library world.
Nice.
And she posed the question, what would happen if everyone in town read the same book and then got together to talk about it? Awesome. And the idea spread like wildfire across the country. And so 3 years ago, Wallingford Public Library decided to do a community read as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And so you've done, this is your third one. I know that you guys already had your book reveal in the beginning of the month.
Yes.
But why don't you tell us a little bit about the book, what it is? And
so this year we're doing a nonfiction book, which is a little different. Last 2 years we did fiction.
Okay.
And the book is, drum roll please, it's called Furious Hours, Murder, Fraud, and the Last Trial of Harper Lee.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of a departure for us, and we're really excited about it because it's a great book.
Nice.
To be honest.
And who's the author?
The author is Stacey Hoppes.
Okay.
A woman who is this is her first book.
Okay.
She's a writer for The New Yorker.
Okay.
So.
And a little bit about the book. Obviously, it's a murder mystery type.
Well, not really mystery so much. The book is really written in 3 parts.
Okay.
The first part is the story of Reverend Willie Maxwell, who was a preacher in Alabama, who on 5 different occasions was accused of murdering 5 of his family members.
Oh, wow.
And he was never convicted.
Oh.
There wasn't enough physical evidence, there wasn't enough evidence to really convict him, but people in town knew that he was guilty because he did it for insurance money. So the book talks about the crimes and then talks a little bit about the life insurance industry and how, things have changed from the early 1970s when he committed these crimes. Changes in the insurance industry that you can't necessarily take out a life insurance policy on a neighbor or a friend.
Right.
So at the wake of his 5th victim, let me get his name right, Robert Burns, who was kind of related to the 5th victim, shot and killed Reverend Maxwell in front of hundreds of people, and the same lawyer who got Reverend Maxwell off for those crimes also represented Robert Burns and also got him off for that crime.
Oh, goodness.
Yes. So it's a fascinating story. So that's the first part of the book. The second part of the book is the story of that attorney. His name was Tom Radney. He was also a local politician. So it tells a little bit about his life and, the struggles that he went through defending Reverend Maxwell and Robert Burns.
Right.
Yeah. And then the third part of the book is where Harper Lee comes in because it tells a little bit about her formative years growing up and then about her struggle to write To Kill a Mockingbird. And then a little bit about her friendship with Truman Capote, who wrote In Cold Blood. She helped Truman Capote with a lot of the research for that book. And so saw what went into the research and saw how he wrote it and decided that she wanted to write a book like that as well. So she went to the trial of Robert Burns. And did a lot of research about the crimes, about him, about Reverend Maxwell. And supposedly she had all of this research and never wrote the book. So the question is why? Was it fear of failure? Was it she just couldn't get into the subject matter? And so the author of Furious Hours, Stacey Hoppes, has dived into this to see, you know, if she could answer some of those questions. So it really is a fascinating read, you know, from the story of the crimes to the story of Harper Lee.
Right, and it brings so many people that are pretty well known right into the story, which is pretty incredible.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So the reveal, I'm sure it went well.
Yes, it went very well. So we actually had a video from Casey Sepp, who announced herself that she was going to be coming here to Wallingford, and that her book was chosen to be the third One Book, One Wallingford.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was great,
Yeah, nice. And you had a good crowd.
Yes, nice crowd.
Awesome.
And cake.
And cake. Cake is always great.
Yes, definitely.
So why don't we talk a little bit about the events that are going to be happening? I know there's some at the library, some at the senior center that are pertaining to the book, whether it's pertaining to the topics in the book or the author themselves. So
yeah, so that's, you know, one thing that our One Book, One Wallingford series, we really take a look at some of the themes in the book and try and dive a little deeper into discussing those themes.
Right.
And so one program that we're having on Wednesday, February 19th is called The Saints in the Mirror, the Voodoo Religion of Haiti.
Ooh.
And we're spelling voodoo, V-O-D-O-U, because that's referring to the actual religion that the Haitians practice and not the magical, mystical that we think of. Because a lot of people in town thought that Reverend Maxwell was a voodoo priest. Because, like I said, there was not enough evidence to convict him. So the question is, did he work alone, or was it some kind of voodoo that he was practicing? But, you know, voodooism is a real religion. And, you know, since I was reading the book, I was thinking, you know, I'm sure a lot of people have the wrong idea about this religion.
Right.
So let's explore that a little bit more. And so I know I'm going to say his name wrong because it's French. It's Dr. Leslie Demangle. He's a professor of religious studies at Trinity College in Hartford.
Oh, wonderful.
He's going to come and talk about the true voodoo religion.
Great. And you said that was Wednesday, February 19th?
Yes, correct.
And that's at 6:30 p.m.?
Yes, correct.
Perfect. And people that want to sign up for these events, they can call to the
No sign up.
Oh, there's no sign up?
No, just come to the library and enjoy the presentation.
Right. And that'll probably be in the community room?
Yes.
Awesome.
You got it.
Perfect. And then I know there's a couple more events. Why don't we talk about those?
Yeah, so we're going to show the movie To Kill a Mockingbird as a kind of refresher for everyone. That's on Friday, February 28th at 6 p.m. in the community room.
That's one of the Friday night flicks.
Friday night flicks,
right.
And then the week after that, on Thursday, March 5th at 7 p.m., retired school teacher Susan Gomes, she's retired from Lyman Hall. She's going to give a presentation. Well, it's going to be a discussion on, is To Kill a Mockingbird relevant and meaningful in the 21st century? So that book was written in the 60s. And, you know, I know we probably all read it in
Yes, I read it in high school.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And maybe you haven't read it since, but yeah. So last year, PBS had their Great American Read, where they polled people around the country to come up with the 100 best-loved novels, you know, in America.
Absolutely.
And To Kill a Mockingbird came out as #1.
I believe it.
Yeah, most loved novel. And recently it's been on Broadway, you know, and so it's kind of had a little bit of a resurgence the last year or two. So, but the question is, are the themes still relevant, you know, in this day and age? So we're going to explore that.
Perfect.
I can't answer that question.
Right, me neither.
Because we'll see.
I would think so, you know.
I would think so too, but it's been so long since I've read it and since I've seen the movie.
Right.
So that's why we're going to do the movie first, so that gives everybody a little bit of a refresher, you know, before we dive in and talk about it a little bit more.
Wonderful. And then the author is coming in April?
We've got other programs.
Oh, you have more programs.
4, yes.
Wonderful.
We're having an interfaith discussion on faith in the Furious Hours. And that's on Tuesday, March 10th at 7 p.m. in the community room. So we have some, you know, local clergy coming to talk about, I mean, here's Reverend Maxwell committing crimes. and here's someone else being a vigilante.
Right.
What does all of that mean, you know, if you're a person of faith?
Right.
And so we're going to talk about that.
Perfect.
And then the last program is Serial Murder, Up Close and Personal, with Dr. Jack Levin, who is the co-director of the Northeastern University Center on Violence and Conflict.
Okay.
And he studies murder, hate, prejudice, and he has a long, storied career.
Right.
He was a pen pal of Charles Manson.
Oh, okay.
And so, well, I shouldn't say pen pal. That makes it sound like they were
Right.
buddies.
But they wrote to each other.
They wrote to
Yes.
each other. And so he's going to provide some real insight on serial murder.
Nice.
Because, you know, as I was reading the book and putting together the programs for One Book, One Wallingford, they labeled Reverend Maxwell a serial killer.
Right.
And I thought to myself, you just tend to think of serial killers as somebody who jumps out of the bushes and,
Right.
is killing strangers.
Not someone that you know.
Or not someone you know,
Right.
not someone who's doing it for money. But the definition of serial killer, I think, may surprise some people. And so we're going to have Dr. Levin talk about that. And that's Wednesday, March 18th.
Okay. So we have about 2 minutes left.
Okay,
So
wow.
time is flying.
Time does fly
So
by.
why don't we quickly talk about when the author is coming, and then I know you have some members of the committee that we wanted to talk about.
So the author, Stacey Hoppes, will be in Wallingford at Dag Hammarskjöld Middle School on Monday, April 6th at 7 p.m.
Okay.
She's going to talk for a bit, answer some questions, autograph some books. And then we do have a committee
Right.
that puts together the programs and publicity for One Book, One Wallingford series.
Right.
And I think we have a list coming up on the screen.
Yes.
Because I do want to be sure to thank them because they work so hard to help put this event together.
Right, and you said there
Yeah.
were some new members this year and stuff,
Yeah, and
so
there were
that's
some,
nice to
exactly.
notify them. Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Wonderful. And then it is in memory of a few ladies that were part of the library, so why don't we mention them quickly?
Yes, Pat Giuliano was a member of the Wallingford Public Library Board of Managers, and Trish Neese was an avid library supporter for many years, and they both passed away recently, and so the event is being held in their honor,
That's
their
so
memory.
nice. Right, very nice.
Yeah.
Well, yes, and if people want to find out more, if they forget the dates we've talked about, they can always go to the library's website.
Yeah, wallingfordlibrary.org.
Perfect.
Or call the library, 203-265-6754.
Awesome.
Or stop by, pick
Right.
up a copy of the book and a ticket to the talk by Stacey Hoppes.
Okay.
And that would be great.
Amazing.
Look forward to seeing everyone.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. It's really been a pleasure, and the book sounds really interesting, so I
Yes.
think you're going to convince me to read it this time.
I was going to say, I can't wait till you read it so we can talk about it
Yes,
some more.
definitely. And a lot of those events sound really, really good, so if I have some time, I might come by.
Great. Sounds good, Stacey.
So thank you again.
Thank you.
Again, I'm Stacey Hoppes, and I'll see you around town.